I know you're scared. Yeah, I'd be too. If I were you. I know you're scared. I'd be too. If I were you. You better bring your A game. Bring your A game. You better bring your A game. Bring your A game. You better bring your A game. Bring your A game. You better bring your A game. Cause all of us you better bring your A game. Bring your A game. You better bring your A game. You better bring your A game.
Welcome, everybody. This is JJ Vikings with Minnesota Vikings safety Camryn Bynum. Welcome to the show, Cam.
What's going on? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's amazing. You're actually the first football player that I've had on my show. So this is actually an amazing moment for, I believe, both of us. And I'm just so excited to get it rolling. So just to start off, I just wanted to tell you, ever since you came out of the draft, I've admired you so much. You're an absolute baller. You have a great mindset, and I love everything about you.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. And that's really the thing I try to make sure that I leave with people, is make sure that I have a good mindset and just show people that really just try to inspire people on and off the field. So I'm glad that you've been a fan, and I appreciate that. And I love what you do also and what you've been doing with your platform. And I've been following you ever since I met you at the game earlier in the season, and I love everything that you put out.
Thank you so much. Hey, this is very amazing, So, you've definitely what you were talking about inspiring people. I have to say, you've definitely inspired me. So, I want to start out. What has your experience playing football before the NFL been like? Like, for example, playing football in Southern California, did you ever have any doubters or anyone that didn't think you'd make it to the pros because of any sort of critics that they had? What was it like for you?
Yeah, I have a pretty crazy story, actually, with my upbringing and getting to the point I am now. I was pretty solid playing football all through, middle school. But once I got to high school, I kind of got lost in the mix. I went to a really good high school, so the talent level was pretty high. So I remember my freshman year, I got a good amount of playing time, was rotating, playing corner. Then sophomore year is when I really hit the wall, and I was fifth string on JV. A lot of players in the NFL that now are guys that were big recruits sophomore year of their high school, playing on varsity, already getting offers and everything. For me, I was fifth string on JV my sophomore year, not getting any playing time. And that's when I had a wake-up call. I was like, I never had any doubt in myself, but obviously everybody else looking at me, and reality is like, yeah, no way this guy's going to make it. He's not even getting playing time. He's not getting in the games. But for me, my mindset was I'm going to work, and there's never a doubt in my mind. So when I found a coach that really poured everything into me, he still trains me to this day, Coach Brown, with my 7-on-7 team, Ground Zero. He found me and he started training me, and I started playing for his 7-on-7 team, and I had a really terrible day. Gave up so many touchdowns in sophomore year, and he was like, "Yeah, I need you to see me 5 a.m. next week on Monday." And he told my dad that, and at the time I didn't like the coach because he was real hard on us, always yelling at people. But he went up to my dad and said, "I see something in your son." And this is after I had the worst tournament of my life in high school. He said, "I see something in your son. I want to see him 5 a.m. on Monday." So my dad took me, and I started seeing that Coach Brown. This is my sophomore year, that off season after my sophomore season. Saw him pretty much every single day, 5 a.m. for the whole off season. And from that time of being fifth string, ending that sophomore year, fifth string on JV, and I was starting varsity at the beginning of that junior season, and even got my first scholarship offer that off season just by that grind I did, and how I went from fifth string on JV, just trained with my coach. He taught me how to be a technician and really taught me everything about the game. From that time, and that one off season, I went from fifth string on JV and ended up starting that first game on varsity. Started my junior year with one offer already. So really, that was like the biggest thing of my career, having to push through that. but never having a doubt in myself that I can make it, because I knew I'd always make it, because my work ethic was always, I would say, better than anybody, and that's one thing I prided myself in. No matter where I was at, I was gonna put that work in. Start at 5 a.m., do a workout, just like how Kobe said, you start early, you get way more workouts in during the day. So I start at 5 a.m., drive 45 minutes to go train with him, come back, be in time for school. Then we lift and practice at school. And then after school, I'm right back at the facility, and I'll get home at 7, 8 p.m. every day. So I'd have from 5 a.m. to 8 at night workouts and football stuff for a whole year. And really, that ended up being my whole process through high school. And that's how I was really able to grow. So I was a late bloomer. And I'd say it was a surprise to a lot of people, because I wasn't posting any workouts. I would just go there and have a few guys that would come with me. And really, like, people were like, how did you have the biggest transformation ever? And then I tell them after, it's like, yeah, I've been literally going straight from school, doing that whole process and being consistent. And everybody thought it was magic, but I'm like, no, I've been killing myself with these workouts. Like, it's not easy. So that's been my process. And that's really how I got through college, doing the same amount of work and just keeping that same blueprint that I had that sophomore year, and keeping that even till now, and never change that even once you make it. And that's where even the jump from my rookie year to my second season and to now, I see growth in my game every single year. And especially me playing a different position now, it's like, in my mind, I had to start all the way over from square one once I moved from corner to safety. So it's like last year when I started that whole season, it was like that was my first time ever being a full-time starter at safety. So there's for sure things I had to learn and humble myself to know that, okay, I was a great corner. None of that matters anymore, because I'm doing something different. And now I need to find all the knowledge I can and just grind like I did back then, because it's a whole new game. I'm back to that fifth string on JV mindset.
Yep. So, I admire how well your transition from cornerback to safety was. With how well you're playing at safety, I hardly even recognize that you played corner once. Because you're playing so well at safety. You've got great guys like Harrison Smith to learn from, and I feel like you're in a really great situation with the Vikings.
Yeah, I think for sure it's a blessing. When I got drafted, think about the guys I had. I had Pat Pete and Harry to be my mentors. So when I got drafted, and Harry's been somebody I've been watching since college. We used to study him at Cal. We used to study like his game when he was with Xavier Rhodes and with Sendejo. All of them, we would watch their games and try and figure out their coverages and all the disguises. And we put some of those coverages in college. And so that was somebody I always looked up to, especially the type of player that he is. And so when I got drafted, I was like, let's go. I get to learn from Harry and get to learn Pat Pete. Everybody always looked up to Pat Pete since he's been in college at LSU. So just having that to help me still wasn't an easy process to switch, but that for sure helped me gain so much more knowledge just by watching them practice and watching their mindset and seeing how they treat the film room, how they treat practices and everything.
Yeah, well, we're all so happy for you. And, there's actually a couple of players you can relate to, because I found out the rookie wide receiver on the Vikings, Jordan Addison, is also a rookie from Southern Cal. And Caleb Evans, he may not have went to college in Southern Cal, but he was a big Patrick Peterson fan. So
Right.
you're on the same team as two guys who you can relate to in certain areas. So I think that's pretty cool for you too.
Exactly. Yep. So I'm sure we all have our guys to look up to, and I'm glad that I was able to have that leadership starting off my career.
I'm happy for you too. And you've been playing phenomenally at safety since you got drafted, but I feel like not only have you been playing as greatly as you have since you started, what made you really like rise up and play even better? Like it's like you're playing like you have 12 years of experience like Harry does, or just like you're playing as if you have so much experience, and I really admire that about you because you are doing so well.
Yeah, thank you. But I'd say really the one thing, Eric Kendricks, he was one of my mentors, and he always told me, yeah, the growth from year 1 to year 2 is pretty big, but he was like, your game is really going to change when you go from year 2 to year 3. And that's something I always kept in mind because, especially in my situation, like we talked about already, me transitioning positions. So really, this is I count this my second year of playing safety because my rookie year I only played a few games at safety and was really mainly a special teams player. But really, just the amount of reps that you get over time, you start to get more comfortable. And especially this season and having this off season where I was training out in the Philippines and just training so much and having so many resources to train and knowing exactly what I need to work on. That's where I was able to make that jump in my game. Really taking a really hard look at myself from my year 1 to year 2 and seeing the things I can get better. And one of my main things was tackling, and just something like as basic as that is in football, that's something you have to tackle every single play. So if you can master that, that makes everything else easy and just more comfortable out there on the field. So that's the main thing I worked on this year. And I'm glad that I got better at that and still going to continue working on it. But that's like knowing the exact things that you need to work on is super important, really, with anything in life. If you want to get better at, you have to know exactly what you want to improve on, or else you're not really going to reach your goals because you're just working at nothing. You're doing busy work realistically if you're not working towards something specific.
Well, I mean, what's it like, by the way, going up against guys that are like bigger than you, like going up against big receivers, tight ends? Like, let's say you were going head to head and you had to tackle a big, fast guy, like, for example, DK Metcalf. That guy's very hard to tackle. So, what's it like for you? Like, what's your strategy like against bigger guys?
Use your technique. I'd say size matters to an extent, but if you use your proper technique and tackle the right way, or even cover people the right way with proper technique, that overrides any type of size. So I think doing things the right way have really shown me like you don't have to hit people every play. You tackle people. Hitting is like that's old football, and now the game is getting people on the ground. So doing that, your legs are the main things that keep people going. So if you can wrap the legs and do that the right way and shoot somebody's legs the correct way, then you can tackle somebody. Every play doesn't have to be a big hit. So that's what you realize, that how much somebody weighs, how tall they are, that stuff doesn't really come into effect unless it's those certain tackles where you're going head up and hitting, like where it has to be a big collision, but not every play has to be like that.
And I have to bring you back to week 7 against the San Francisco 49ers. You were going up against them. The clock was ticking, for about 43 seconds left. Brock Purdy floats the ball up. You intercept the ball, making it your second interception of the game, along with 9 tackles and a forced fumble. So what was your mindset, not only going into the game, but also like before you had that pick? Like, I know you probably wanted a pick in your mind, but you just wanted to make a big play, and you definitely did.
Yeah, going into that especially that last series of that game, you want to be the guy that makes the play for the team and be a hero. And I say movie all the time. That's like the ultimate movie of making a game-winning play. So in my head, I'm not like thirsty to make the play, because when you chase plays, that's when you make mistakes and that's when you get too eager to do things. So I'm like, let me just play my technique, do the right things, and be in my spot, and the ball is going to come to me. And really, we saw that concept that they were doing that whole day. So being able to do that and be in that right spot at the right time, and the ball came, I was like, I have to make the play. So really that, and just knowing that it's a big game, a Monday night game, the whole world is watching against, at the time, they're one of the best teams in the league. So knowing that that's the best competition on the biggest stage, you have to show up.
I believe we're the only team in the NFC that's beaten the Niners, by the way.
Really?
Yep. Because the Eagles just lost to them, so I think we're the only team in the NFC that's beaten them. So in my opinion, I think the Vikings gotta extend you. You've done so well. You've done so well, and the picks are lining up. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you or ask you, what do you like most about head coach Brian Flores, or not head coach, sorry, defensive coordinator Brian Flores? So he has definitely, in my opinion, shown how much skill you have, with his brilliant scheme and it's having a huge, a big positive effect on you and other safeties. So, what do you like most about Brian Flores?
I'd say one, he's a super cool person, really good coach, and as far as like off the field and even in the building, he's really approachable. You know, you probably look at him on TV, he probably looks mean, just 'cause he's focused on game day. But no, he's really cool, really easy to talk to, cool guy overall. So that makes it easy to come to him about football things and come to him about certain things about the defense. So that on top of him just knowing that uh, players are the ones on the field, so he lets us have a voice and make sure that we're comfortable with everything that we're doing on the field. And if we don't feel comfortable in a certain coverage or doing certain things, then he's not going to run that coverage. So that's one thing I respect about him, is that he really cares what the players think about what we're doing. And he one thing he always says, it's not his defense, it's our defense as a team, as the players. He says it's your guys' defense. You guys, at the end of the day, you guys are the ones on the field, so you need to make certain decisions. And when you guys make those decisions, I'm not mad at you, whether it goes right or wrong. If you trust and believe that that's going to be your play and you need to make an adjustment or do something here, I trust it. Just play fast and do that. So I think that his mixture of being aggressive, but also letting it be our defense and letting us play smart and fast is probably the best thing about him, and one thing I really respect about him.
You know, our defense has really been, so great lately. It's been helping our team, saving our team. And I believe you when you say that Brian Flores is a really cool guy. I met him as well after the game. You know, had a short talk with him. Super cool guy. And I've also seen in his press conference how he said, it's your guys' defense. And whether it goes right, whether it goes wrong, and he'll still help you guys all the time, help improve. And that's what I love about Brian Flores, And I hope we keep him for a long time because he's really been helping us so much. And you.
Appreciate that. I'm praying for that too.
Yep.
Sure.
And lastly, I wanted to go a bit deeper, like into culture. So first of all, if you didn't know this about me, my parents are from Cameroon, in West Africa near Nigeria. I was born in America, and I have some African descent in me, so I know what it's like to be born in America, but also have a different country in yourself as well. So, can you tell me a little bit about your Filipino culture? Because it really interests me, and I really like it. It's really cool.
Yeah. So my mom is full Filipina. So my grandpa, her dad, was born out there and raised out there, and my grandma was born here in the States. So it's cool to have a little bit of both sides, with my dad's side being the African American side and my mom's side being Filipino. I'm able to experience a lot of different cultures and be around a lot of different people from both sides of my family. So having the Filipino roots and being able to go back there once I got to the league, and being able to travel because we have an off season now, really changed my life. Seeing like where my mom's side of the family comes from, and really why we are the way we are, and like certain like little small things, like how I'm just thinking, like, nope, in the Filipino culture we don't waste anything. Everybody always saves food. Everybody always, like, food is a big deal for us. So whether it's recooking food to make a different meal if you have leftovers, or just not throwing food away and going to give it to somebody else, or just saving it for leftovers, I'm thinking, okay, that's just, you guys don't want to waste money. But out there, I realized that's like a culture thing, and food is a really big deal for people, and we never waste anything out there. And people are so resourceful out in the Philippines. Just little small things like that makes me realize that we aren't. It's not just an us thing; it's a whole cultural thing. And little small things that I see out in the Philippines is like, okay, that's why my family does this. That's why my family loves to sing, because Filipinos love karaoke, and that's the biggest downtime that they have out there. And neighborhoods, people just sit outside and singing all night on the karaoke machine. So just random things like that help me realize like a deeper level of my culture, and being able to go out there and do positive things and help typhoon victims and help people that are victims of poverty, and also be able to go out there and enjoy the islands and see how beautiful of a country it is. And not a lot of people know that about the Philippines. You know, it's people know it's islands, and people hear about all the some poverty out there, but people kind of ignore the fact that it's probably the most tropical and best travel destination in the world. So I love being able to do it all, be able to do the things in the poorer areas, but also be able to enjoy the super tropical, clear beaches, clear water, white sand, and all the adventurous stuff out there too. So it's really been fun being able to explore and see where my people come from.
And is it true that people from the Philippines eat like with a fork and spoon in the same bowl?
Yep, same bowl, and they never. It's either they eat with their hands only or a fork and spoon. It's never just a fork. So that's. I saw your thing where you said your neighbor gave you a fork and a spoon when they gave you
Nope.
some food one time as a kid, and I was laughing because I'm like, that's so Filipino, and they eat it like this and just use both, and it's like it's tough.
Yeah,
I went out there, I tried to do it, but my left hand isn't good yet, so I'm still trying to master that.
it was pretty easy for me actually. And by the way, those neighbors, they that was back when I spent some time in California.
Okay.
So they definitely were a really kind family. They definitely treated me like I was family. I don't remember much. I was only about 8 years old at that time, but I remember my mom. She didn't really, she wasn't able to take me to the bus at that time for whatever reason it was. But she asked the family, and they were all for it, and they treated me like I was family, and that's the most Filipino thing to do ever. And I really
Yeah.
love that about.
Family's huge. Serving other people is huge, and that's why I love it. Because mainly, yeah, the biggest thing about the Philippines, I love the people. The people are so nice and willing to help other people and just loving. So that's what I love about our culture.
And real quick, what's the most memorable thing, like memorable football thing in your life? Like most memorable NFL play
NFL play,
or like
I'll
experience, you know?
I'll say recently being able to use my platform and help get my wife out here because the struggles of
Oh
getting
yeah.
the process and getting that having the game that I did against the Niners, and that was probably the biggest game of my life, the best game I've ever had in my life, and for me to be able to do that and use that platform that I had that night to get her here, but also spread awareness for other people that are going through that same situation because we're one of millions of people that are trying to get visas and be able to travel to see your loved ones. So me being able to do that was probably the most memorable and the impactful things I've done so far. And I'm just thankful to God that I was able to get that night and make that play to be able to do something bigger than me.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you, by the way. Really happy. When I saw the video, I was so happy. Like, yeah, his wife is back, or is back in the States, and
Mm,
can finally watch you play big games. And against
right.
the Saints, you had that almost interception, but
I know.
I'm so glad you were still able to I still thought to myself, at least he was still able to give the ball to whoever was in the stands. Was that your family in the stands, by the way?
Yeah, that was my wife there. So I told my little brother that I'm gonna get an interception, and when I get it, you have to run her down there and catch the ball and hand it to her, so I can toss my wife the ball. So we had the plan all matched up and ready to go. I thought I got the pick. I'm glad they at least ruled it a pick so we can get that moment to celebrate. But then they called it back, and we had to go back out there on defense. But I was just happy to get that moment and have her at least experience just that first game and having that happen.
Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't. That would have been really harsh if they took the ball back. I'm glad that you were at least able to give the ball to her.
Yeah, exactly. And she doesn't mind. She's like, I don't care if it's an interception or not. I got to catch the ball from the stands with you.
And what motivated you to start your foundation, the Bynum Faith Foundation?
I really want to serve other people. Want to spread God's word through all the things that we do. And when I went to the Philippines and helped the typhoon victims, that really sparked everything because we did it with our church and we're doing it with the foundation through them. So really doing that with them inspired me to make my own so we can continue to do outreaches and help people that are in need in whatever way here in the States and also in the Philippines. So my foundation has really been able to help do that and also bring football to the Philippines through our camps and everything, and really help people in whatever way we can. So starting our own foundation is helping us be able to get more donations and get more people to see the need for whether it's help, whether it's sports or anything that we can serve other people with. That's what we want to do. So it's been fun and a big year for us. Since our first year, we've been able to accomplish a lot in just this in 2023.
And by the way, I saw your offer. By the way, I'm ready. I've always loved to visit the Philippines, and you know, you know, I'm ready whenever you're ready. My passports are ready, so whenever
All right.
you're ready, I'm ready. So I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that call.
Okay. Yep. But once we plan the dates and everything, I'll let you know. We got to make that happen.
Whether you want me to show up for a game, whether you want me to like anything, I'm free. I'm free.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Yep. And I also enlisted in your not sure what it's called, but it was for the Vikings Packers game on New Year's Eve.
Oh, you did for the giveaway for the
Yeah, the
tickets?
giveaway. Yep, I enlisted. So
Perfect.
fingers crossed.
Yep. We'll see. Hopefully, not to be biased, but I hope you get the win.
Wow, you know what? You're reading my mind, because whenever I do my analysis on you, I try so hard not to be biased because of how many great things you've done for me. But at the same time, you're doing so much that I can't overhype you without being looked at weirdly. So,
Right. I appreciate that.
yep. And it's been so great, and I have to tell you, the play that made me really love you was probably the play week 10 of 2021 where you sacked Justin Herbert.
That's been the one. That was cool because that's my first career sack, and especially for me in Southern California too. So all my family and friends were there. It's my rookie year, so being able to make a play in front of all of them was insane.
Yeah, and then you had the week before, you had the interception against the Ravens
Yep.
in
And
week
Lamar.
9.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that was a crazy 2 weeks, and all that just by filling in for Harry. So it was cool.
Yep. And then I gotta say too, you and Josh Metellus are an underrated safety duo. You guys are an amazing duo.
Appreciate that. Me and Josh have been. He's helped me a lot, just like Harry has, and we've helped each other, just competing with each other, and really, we're both hungry. So that's one thing me and him have in common. Like, we really enjoy this. So me and him, we have fun being out there on the field together.
Yep. And then I've also been watching the Vikings channel a lot. Those team riddles are hilarious.
They are.
They are. They really are. You guys are so hilarious, but also very smart.
Yeah, some of us.
Yeah.
Some of us. Some people have crazy answers.
Yeah, some do. Yeah. But Najee is very smart though too. On
Nah,
that team.
he's underrated. Like, he's really smart. He's a really smart dude. I love Najee.
But yeah, I love everything about you. I love your foundation, and I think I hope you make the Pro Bowl this year. I hope you and Josh make it. Hope you get extended, and I hope that you have a great rest of your season, great rest of your career. Which brings me to the question: what do you plan to do? Like, do you have any big expectations for yourself going up to the end of the season? Because it's about 5 games left, and what do you want to do?
I need some more interceptions. Personal. For me, my goal is, like, personally, for sure, get a few more interceptions, at least 2 more, 2, 3 more. Continue to make the tackles that I need to make. No, I want no missed tackles the rest of the season. And really just make any play and play clean football and show up every single game. And that's, for me, my personal things. But all those personal goals are things that will help the team win. So obviously the main goal for all of us is to win the Super Bowl. But to get to that point, we have to each have our personal goals to play every snap perfect, to make the plays that come to you, and everything else will take care of itself. So I think taking care of your own responsibility will bring us to that point where we win a division and even further make the playoffs, win our first playoff game, win the second, third, go to the Super Bowl, win that. So that's always the goal.
Yeah, that's amazing. We're all so happy that you're in purple. This was a great stream tonight. Thank you so much for being on. You are an amazing player, and I am so glad that you're on our team. Keep doing well. Keep balling this season, and we all appreciate you. Hope to get hope you get like a pick 6 or something by the end of the season. So yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. But thank you so much for coming on. This has been amazing. Movie.
You see I'm rocking the shirt. I saw you got the shirt too.
Skull Vikings, everyone. Thanks for watching.